Welcome on back to another episode of Trapdoor to Hell. Um, as always, your host Travis Gunderson with you. It's nice to be back. It is Wednesday, September 21st. Um, I told you guys I was going to be a little more laxed on these days and get to it when I can, get to it when I feel the inspiration. So we've got a good I, excuse me, that's probably disgusting to listen to into your microphones. I apologize, or your headphones. I apologize. I shouldn't be doing it into the microphone. Um, I got a good episode lined up for you today. I took some time to make a tier list. Not one that's pre-made. I made my own tier list that's got a bunch of stuff. Has to do with something that I really want to talk about on this episode. So that's going to be in store for you. It's something that I have a lot of opinions on, so I hope we all enjoy. But real quick off the top, I want to start. I'm going to start announcing the stuff at the beginning. So I mean, you guys can skip through it now instead of cutting the podcast short. Podcast short at the end. Um, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I recommend you do, if not, and you're audio listener, fucking all right with you. Share this with people you think would like it. Audio versions everywhere podcasts are pretty much. If nobody's came to me and said it's not on this, and I don't know of it, the big ones that everybody use, it's there. Find it. Trapdoor to Hell. Um, a lot of the links should be in the Facebook description or whatever. And then the YouTube is Trapdoor to Hell. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of that really just positively influences me to keep going and keep doing entertaining stuff for you guys. So keep it rolling right now. Um, Facebook Trapdoor to Hell, Twitter at Trapdoor Pod, and then if you have anything you want to shoot over, questions, topics, if things you would want to see on the podcast, at go trapdoorpod at yahoo.com. Hit us up on an email, hit me up in an email, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. I'm sometimes forgetful, but I do my best. I really do my best. Um, Last week was a fun fucking week. I appreciate all the good feedback of you guys out there saying that Solo played out well, you know. Um, I think for the time being, just because it's difficult to get people together unless I'm reached out to at this point, I'm just gonna assume that I'm doing it myself, and I'll do it myself when I get to it. That I feel so much that like, especially with football season started, and those of you who have been listening for a long time used to do points and doinks and this every week on a time schedule, go to the movies every week, watch every show, um, this, that. Now I've got kids going into sports, so like I'm having a hard time getting to the movies to watch movies at this point. The movie ranking site that you guys all use, or hope you guys use. I do it for not just for me, but so I can share my opinions about movies, which we'll talk about later. Um, that's that's what that's for. Anyways, it's just it's difficult right now. So football season started and shit like that. I'm gonna get to these when I get to them, and I feel so much relief. Like I sat down yesterday, and I was gonna record it, and we got the puppy who we're still training. R.A.P. Bruno, but Benny, um, Benny is 1 years old, little over 1 year old. And he's a pound mix, and it's a lot to get him wound down. I have to take him on multiple walks a day before I go to work, after I go to work, try and get the energy out. Sometimes when I close the door to come in here and do my work or go to sleep, you know, he doesn't have it all quite out, and he's barking out there, and I have to go play with him a little bit. So yesterday was that scenario. Close the door for, you know, bedtime. I was gonna come in here and record, um, and then he like whining and whining and barking and barking. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna wake up one gonna wake up the girls, two gonna mess up with the audio and shit like that, and he's just not gonna allow. And if I don't come to him, he's gonna fucking find something to tear up. So I'd rather not walk out and see my fucking recliner tore up. So I bit the bullet. I went out there for a minute and I was like, "What? Let's think about what we're gonna do today. Like, well, really, what's gonna do today?" Um, so first, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna recap some of the NFL weekend. That was really fun. There's more exciting shit from that happened this week, just like last week. I mean, I was all hyped up last week, and a lot of shit got me real hyped up this week too. It was really fucking cool. And then I want to talk about we're gonna touch briefly on what seems to be a nice a really good horror trilogy that's in the making permanently right now. Second one in theaters, and then I'm gonna do a tier list of some of the best horror franchises. So we'll get into that when we get into that. It's always great. I appreciate all you guys out there listening still. Um, w- Football. I mean, well, let's see. Is there anything else personal? Man, so much shit going on. It's crazy. I mean, Friday and Saturday got a little fucking out of hand, but it left me in shambles. I cooked some fucking phenomenal wings on Sunday and just fucking like sat on the couch and just didn't move really. At one point, took a nap during some of the afternoon games, woke up. It was perfect, like that nap where you fall asleep, just before halftime, and then you wake up just before the fourth quarter is going to start. It's like, we really hit this one out of the fucking park today. Um, so let me see here. Let's see. I got some of this shit up here. One, don't fucking at me about the fucking Raiders. I get it. That was stinky fucking garbage, but they were part of what was super exciting morning games, just like the previous September 11th opening weekend games where we had three big fucking comebacks. One being the Cardinals coming back and beating the Raiders in overtime. They were down uh they hadn't even scored until the third quarter when they scored 7 points. But it was 23-7 after the third quarter, and they scored 16 unanswered to come back, tie the game, and then double fumble by Hunter Renfrow in overtime, scoop and score that won the game. That was interesting. The Jets came back against the Browns by like 20 points or something like that. I mean, absolutely insane what Joe Flacco did over there. The Browns, I mean, I don't know if that was lack of defense or what the fuck it was, but I mean, in the fourth quarter they matched them for points. It was just like not doing what was needed. Um, it was really interesting. Let's see here. What was the other one? The other one was Miami, right? Yeah, that should have been Miami and hold up, it's here somewhere. I just want to make sure I'm correct. I think it was Miami. Yeah, there it is. Miami at Baltimore came back, scored 28 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win the game against the Ravens. I mean, Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle seems to be like severely dangerous. I know there's people who are like doubting Tua at this point. I think, maybe he's not like Tom Brady or anything like that, but especially in what Miami's cooking over there, I don't think the offense can get much better. Those were those were like most of the crazy games that that was really interesting uh like betting wise because those came covered. I know Thursday night like the Justin Herbert came back with basically a broken back. Um and covered the spread um, against the Chiefs. But other than that, not a ton of exciting stuff. There was a ton of scoring in general. Like there was few blowouts, including Monday Night Football. just 2 days ago. Buffalo Bills blowing out. Buffalo Bills doing blowing out. Fuck! I should just look. Trying to guess. The Titans was crazy in the third quarter. Just after a pick six, um, Mike Vrabel just taking out Ryan Tannehill and throwing in the towel was like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, it stopped a comeback in my fantasy football league between friend of the pod Gary and Jared. Jared was up currently. Gary had Josh Allen going, and because they Titans basically rolled over. The Bills got too big. He lost by like 3 or 4 points. Like it wasn't a lot. It was a handful of points. Crazy. And then right on top of that, it was like the Eagles were starting Monday night. They started like an hour delayed. So I was kind of watching both on both screens. That was pretty close. But as soon as the Bills game ended, the Eagles like literally just it felt like they were sitting on the game. They didn't score. There was literally no scores in the second half, which was kind of boring, but it was interesting to see like how well Philadelphia just ran the ball, worked the clock, and like for lack of a better phrasing, basically kneeled on the Vikings' throat. Uh uh and Kirk Cousins looked bad. I mean, Eagles brought the fucking pressure over, over, and over again, and he just had no answer. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, uh, they defunded the police in that city, I think. Donnie's drunk. That was, I mean, it was a cool Sunday. Or sorry, a week in NFL. It was very interesting. I might start those of you who are listeners who are in uh J Rose Fantasy Football League. I might start doing some like Facebook lives after the Sunday night games or during the Sunday night games to talk about how exciting Sunday's been. Just a little fun thing. I don't know. I think it's very interesting and very fun to do. Maybe I'll do it on here and redirect it over to Facebook. You know, we did. I think I talked about it on here. We did a live draft, but it was over Zoom. And you know, no knock on people. No knock. Some people just aren't technically inclined, even at using some of the stuff we find basic and easy. Um, so to try and do that where I like do it live on the YouTube, I don't know if I want to. And even if I did like think it was a good idea, I don't know how I would redirect people and how easily they'd figure out how to use YouTube live chat and stuff like that, or the chat box on the side or whatever. A lot of them on their phones and shit. I think it'd probably be easier just to do it on Facebook. Also, I have a balance of. I think about this sometimes where it's fun on the podcast to talk about the a little bit of the personal stuff, but to do something that's weekly, I don't know how that plays on my. Let me say it this way. The last thing I wanna do is cloud my feed with very, very specific videos for 12 people. Other people may enjoy it, and I think it may transfer over, but I don't wanna cloud my YouTube feed with that necessarily. I don't know. It's Shout out J-Ro out there. I'm sure he's listening to this. He's like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." I've talked to him about it a couple of times. And I'm just not sure. So, I don't know. May There's a lot of things I want to do, man, and there's a ton of things I want to do, and there's just not enough time in the day. So fucking plain and simple, not enough goddamn time in the day. Um, dude, I got some fucking shit going up for Halloween. You guys know from years past, Halloween huge, huge, huge. So I got Halloween stuff going around the apartment, and that's been fun. The fucking rainstorm came. I mean, it's like we put up all this Halloween stuff, and immediately the fucking rain came, and it's like, oh, let's get the stuff that's battery powered out of the rain, but everything else, I'm not fucking taking the whole thing down. Which that's you pay the price, you pay the piper on that one. I like to have it up early, you know, where opposed to living with living with Pops before, he would like literally force like I'm not putting up anything like fucking 50% of the cool stuff was just sitting in the front room or in the main entrance area until Halloween, like set up just sitting there. So I'm not gonna do that. I'll figure out how to put almost everything up I can. Obviously I'm not able to dip into all that stuff. Um, I went to the storage unit and grabbed some shit. It's like a weird breakup, me moving out, my brother moving out, and then my dad having everything in storage because he's trying to move right now. It's like it's super strange because I'm like, you know, I bought some stuff, Tyler's bought some stuff, he's bought some stuff, and I'm like in there like, what can I take? What do you want me to take? Like what do you think is your? And he's like, he being really cool about it is just like, take whatever. I'm not ever gonna put this stuff up. So I think once he moves into his own place or whatever, he's not gonna touch that shit anymore. And hopefully I move in a house and I can have it. I mean, I'll work on that with Ty Gundy. I'm sure he'll want to be into a house at some point and want some of it. And I'm not gonna just tell him that I deserve it all or anything like that. Um, that's not true. You know, I think he has the right. He's purchased stuff himself, but that's something we could work out in the end, and I hope we can. But I did pick up some stuff to use and got a really cool setup going on the porch. I've had a fake doll for a long time, and I actually use a bloody suit. It's like a painter suit that my dad and brother had used for Halloween dress up stuff for years past. And I put it on the doll or the what are they like posable posable dolls, I guess. He's like fucking 4'8", so he's like a fucking this the size of an unusually large child. He's got proportions of a man. So, anyways, got that, picked up a cheap little clown mask, and we have this cool little clown in a cage who like rocks back and forth to act crazy in the cage that you can use with backpack strap. Well, unfortunately, the music doesn't or the sound does effect doesn't work on him, so it's just him moving. He used to make like a maniacal laughing sound. That didn't last very long. I don't know, it's just maybe bad quality or whatever. Whatever. It still looks cool. I'm not tripping about it. But it comes with backpack straps, so you could set him on a table, and he's got a full cage that goes around him, or you can hook him up as a backpack and walk around with him. So I hooked him up to the strap and basically pinned the doll against him, so it looks like the doll is holding him in, and he's got a little clown, old school clown mask on. So I mean, shit works perfect. That's right there on the porch. Um, I've got a bunch of stuff hanging over the back patio. I mean, it's really, really, really cool stuff. I'm excited. Halloween right around the corner, which leads me to my next point of conversation is moving into like movies and stuff more is horror movies. So earlier this year, yes, earlier this year, I believe I talked about the movie X on the podcast, at least briefly, or maybe not. No, I might not. It could have been during the that's why I didn't score it in there. So it could have been during the break where I wasn't doing podcasts. I was trying to figure out a reboot or whatever. We're trying to strive and thrive, you know what I'm saying? So I may not have done anything with that, but Anyway, so the movie X is a really, really fun horror movie, uh, directed by Ty Weston. Ty, let me see. I can find this real quick. I think it's Ty West. Um, Ty West, not Weston, and co-wrote with Mia Goth, and she is the main star of this. So this one takes place in the 70s. Um, that one takes place in the 70s, and it's about a porn crew that wants to make this like farm porn movie. They go out to this like uh like this like farm or piece of land in the middle of Texas, and rent out their old like barn shed. It's like a small little house, whatever, on the property to shoot this. They don't tell the property owners or anything like that, but they do, and then they all start getting murdered one by one, and it's a delightful movie. It's shot in like a grindhouse sort of way. It's very, very fun. It's written great. Got a good twist to it. So it's a very fun movie. Well, just this past weekend, um, the movie Pearl was released. Now, Pearl, and I don't want to give away the ending of X, but this Pearl is the prequel to this. And Pearl is apparently shot in such a way that has garnered a lot of attention for people in an almost midsummer way for all you horror fans out there. So it's super interesting. And then literally paired with that was an announcement that they're making um, a number three that in this line that will be a sequel to X that takes place in the 80s or whatever, called Maxine, three X's. Um, Very interesting. I liked X a lot. I'm hoping to get to Pearl. I have to work some overtime this Saturday, and I mean, I might have to bite the bullet and not watch football on Sunday. I know that's a fucking psycho thing to say, but it is what it is. So, um, and also, I was invited to go watch football. So I don't know. I got too much shit going on, so it's fucking nightmare. I can't fucking keep up with anything. I also heard, by the way, if you're going to the movies, and Pearl isn't. If you haven't watched X, so you don't want to watch Pearl, you can watch Barbarian, another horror movie. Really good. Anyway, so with the announcement that the third one is coming, I wanted to do a list of horror franchises. I think after the original and the sequel, uh, if you have a third, it becomes a franchise. And there's, especially in the horror genre, there's plenty full of franchises. So I wanted to kind of touch onto these and make a tier list for it. So let me pull this up real quick. Ah, oh, it just got dark in here. Oh, that's not. Let me turn this brightness up on my shit real quick. Gang, brother. Anyway, so this is it right here. I have lots of movie. Maybe I can put a little fucking. Give me some light here. How does this look? Let me see. Let me see, Daddy. Oh, that's a little better. Spooky at night. Ooh, spooky. All right. All right. So I have the list right up here. Um, so the first one we have, and so real quick before we start, those guys who know horror movies and know franchises and stuff like that know that there's not everything on this list. Please don't, you can, I mean, actually, please do comment, tell me what I'm missing. Um, Go on Twitter, fucking roast me, Facebook. I don't give a shit. Do something in interaction with me on this stuff. Um, I went through IMDb and I typed in horror franchises, it spit me out almost 700 movies, and I worked through them all and basically just took the original poster, Don't Sue Me, and I put it into Tier Maker here, and I skipped some. I did skip some. So as I was searching through, I recognized some by name that I hadn't watched any of. One in particular that I'll say off the top is like The Howling, which has a ton of movies and it's a very popular horror franchise. I just haven't got to them. And then some of them, it's like I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen others, and I really don't have an opinion on it. So I kind of just glossed over it. A lot of these are going to be things, ones that people know, so it's fun to talk about. And if you don't know it, it's because I have an opinion on it. You can also do your own version of this. It's on tiermaker.com. I will share I will share the link to this tier or figure out how the best way to do that is. But I think we'll just get right into it. Um I'm gonna work backwards from the bottom here, because obviously the OGs start at the top. So this first one is VHS. VHS is a anthology series, very fun stuff. The whole idea is that the backstory is that they're doing something and they stumble upon VHSs and they pop the first one in. It's a crazy story. Then the second one is a crazy story. Then the third one, the fourth one, then something bad eventually happens to them. But it really doesn't matter much. I find VHSs. I think there's five in. I think there's maybe five of them. I remember the first three very well, and I did like them a ton. I realize I'm a big anthology guy, so it's different. Like little short stories, I think are can be truly scarier with a overarching. So let's see if I were to put this up somewhere. Let's start, and we might do some moving around and stuff up here. I'm gonna take this. I'm not gonna put it in D. I'm just gonna move my mouse a little bit more. I'm gonna put VHS up in the B category, and I know people are like probably like that's not right. That's not good. I don't care. The next one, Tremors. Tremors has I think six. Trevor I think maybe somewhere in between 4 and 6. I'm trying to remember as best. I rewatched 1 and 2 not too long ago. These are fun movies, but they're not particularly good. Um, I think Tremors belongs probably in the D. Um, you guys might recognize like Sharknado is not on this list. I don't give a fuck about Sharknado. I think they're dumb. Tremors at least needs to be talked about, and I feel like I need to put it on this tier list. But not rank it high or have too many opinions on it. RIP that dude who's in it too. Okay, let's see if I this okay, all right. This is Ringu. These goes up here. So I remember the original two. This is, I believe, is it Japanese horror? Yeah. Um, there's this, and then there's another one that's uh on this tier list that we'll talk about in a little bit. They became popular when they were remade in the mid 2000s, which the remakes are what got me were right at that time where I was getting big into horror. So like I love even the remakes, I think very fondly of them. I really do. The Ring for you guys, it's Ringu and in its home country. I find these to be some of the scariest films. I think the originals do a near perfect job for horror, and then the remakes do a good job translating over to America. Um, it gets a little shaky into into Rings and the later ones, and then I seen like later versions of uh from the home from Japan that I've never seen before. So it's not something that I is that double Texas Chainsaw? That is. We got double Texas Chainsaw Massacre on here, so we're gonna just avoid this first one right now. Yeah. So, but those are phenomenal, phenomenal, and I recommend to anybody if you haven't. Uh, oh no, if you haven't, yeah, let's do this. I don't know why it's getting bigger, but you haven't. Sorry, if you haven't seen it yet, please go see it. Um, or sorry, not go, but just watch it. I don't know why that's getting bigger. Okay. Next one we're gonna skip Texas Chainsaw. Next one we're gonna talk about is Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp. I wanted to put this on here for one reason and one reason only. The twist in the original Sleepaway Camp is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I haven't seen the rest of them, but if you haven't seen the twist from the original Sleepaway Camp, it's fucking nuts. Now it's not good. It's not good at all. I would put it here in the F category, but that first one, no, I'm doing that based off of this one's not very good, but has a fucking fun twist. Um, and that the rest of them are probably really, really poor, really poor. So, next we'll do Scream. Scream, I think has to be up into the A tier, not quite S. They are very, very good, and Wes Craven is a genius for realizing at the time when the original Scream came out in the 90s, the horror franchise, the horror movies, because in the early and late 70s, they started a lot of these franchises that we know and love, right? And in the 80s, they exploited them, making tons of movies, tons of ripoffs. The horror genre was a fucking mess. The slasher had just kind of fucked things up or whatever. So what he noticed was, let me do something that's meta, right? So the kids can enjoy it and realize like this movie is scary and it has a slasher while at the same time it's making fun of that stupid shit that everybody overused in these 80s slasher movies. And it's genius. And I think that every movie afterwards still has something to bring to it in the kind of who done it sense. They still find a way to have that meta factor in it. And I think the remakes and the reboot have done decent jobs. So um it is what it is. I think that in itself is a A tier. We're gonna go to Saw here. Saw is a C tier. Yeah, let's go C tier. I think Saw is C tier. I like Saw a lot. I understand, especially how really late into these it gets pretty bad. It gets really, really bad. um like acting wise and like forcing things into a plot and trying to be too smart for itself, but the concept of it is still always genius. um I think Jigsaw, was that the Chris Rock one, or is it Spiral's the new one with Chris Rock? It's an interesting turn in this. It keeps on going. It's good, not it's good enough. It's not even close to like really good or great, But I wouldn't say it's bad. I rewatch it every once in a while. Reanimator franchise. Really good stuff. I like Reanimator. I think it's like perfect mix of zombie and just weird sci-fi and shit like that. I like that. But it's low budget and low quality, so I think that goes right there on the C class with it. But they're fun movies. They're like when I want to watch something, when I go, let's watch like an 80s horror movie, I think one of the Reanimators usually pops in my head. Um, this is The Purge. stinky fart. The first movie was good, and then they just let that shit fall off of a fucking cliff. Psycho. Um, I think for the pure case of the original, I can't do anything lower than B. Um, the other two Psychos are not good whatsoever. I think the first one wraps up so perfectly that there's no need to do that anymore. Um, so to continue it kind of was stupid as shit. I see it, and then they tried the remake. We'll talk about the remake with Vince Vaughn. I thought was good. I actually thought was pretty good. Vince Vaughn did a good job. I don't care what anybody else says. All right. The next one we have here is Prom Night. Prom Night, I think, belongs in the C category. This was the start of a one. What's her name? Activia, Halloween, Laurie Strode. Oh fuck, that's gonna fucking kill me, dude. Where the fuck? Oh, that's right. Phone's up on the light. Can't change it. I'm blanking on her name. She started off in Prom Night, in the original Prom Night. I think they're fun slasher movies. They bring a little different vibe if you've never seen them and don't understand them, but it is fun. Poltergeist. Poltergeist, I'm gonna put up into the B category. This is another one where I think the first few of these are good. The first one is pretty stellar. And then they kind of get a little sloppy. But what happened? What doesn't when you get deep? That's the thing. Like Scream and Polter. So a lot of these will be ranked. If their original is so good, like I'll forgive a little bit on the back end, and you'll see that once we get towards some of these, especially up here. Paranormal Activity. At one point, I probably would have put this in the A category, but the more and more they add to this lore, the worse and worse it gets. The first two or three movies were really, really good, and they had hit at a perfect time, I would say. And they really fucked that one up. The Omen, the Omen, I think is also one that I'll put at B. I remember the first two being the first one being good, the second one being okay, and then the third, it was like fucking adults, and they named it. They didn't even name it like the Omen 3 or anything like that. They just kind of forget what it was called, something weird like the Reckoning or some bullshit. But the first two were good enough. I think it deserves the remake on that came out uh June 6, 2006. I mean, we were all hyped for that. It was decent, but not as good as the original. Boy was just way creepier in the original. Insidious, I don't even think I have to say anything. This in the Insidious movies from the first one to what did they do? Four or five? Yeah, I mean, those are phenomenal, true testaments to horror. Just true testaments to horror. Um Leprechaun. This is the start of God, I can't remember anybody's name today. God, what was her name from Friends? This Jennifer Aniston. Thank you. I pulled that one. Watch, I'll remember what's her name. To almost had it. Leprechaun, I think is like the perfect example. Okay, not perfect, but it's a it's a good example. Well, it's a perfect example of a horror franchise as it's regarded, not like, what am I trying to say? Not like in it's a good movie, but that they're all pretty right there. They have fun elements to it. The villain of it's a shit talker, which is interesting. I like these. I think they deserve a C. What do I have there? Prom night. I'm gonna I'm gonna bump this up to B actually for now. No, no, we'll go to C. It's still a little insane, which I don't like. Let's do Final Destination. Final Destination is D. They're super interesting in the way they kill people. I used to love watching Final Destinations as a boy. Um, I don't find any want to go back and see this. What I would much rather do instead of watch these movies is just go to YouTube and put in every death from Final Destination, which keeps it out of the F category. Keeps it out of the F, but not good enough to bring it above a D for sure. Um, let's move on. This is not. God damn it. Oh, Ju-on. Oh man. Ju-on, The Grudge. I mean, fantastic again, Japanese horror film. I better be getting these right too. That would look fucking sus as shit. You guys all laugh at me. We'll go if I'm getting these all wrong, the country of origin. You can go respond to me on Twitter and call me a fucking idiot. But anyways, Ju-on, The Grudge, some of my favorite shit. Some of the scariest imagery I've ever seen in a horror film was when I watched the original Ju-on, and it's like not overly produced is what I like. I think the original was done in like the 80s or something like that. I mean, it's just if you haven't, please, please, please go see it. Next we'll talk go see it like it's in fucking just see it. Just see the damn thing. Next let's talk about Jeepers Creepers here. Jeepers Creepers, I think does a good job in every single one of its movies with the villain of it. It doesn't exactly nail all its ant protagonists, which is it's an issue. But I think it's fun and they wait long enough. They don't pump out too many where it oversaturates, and they all end up being pretty fun to watch. I know there's an issue. This is why it's in B. I know there's an issue where I guess the director of them did some pedophile stuff, but like I still watch Rosemary's Baby. You know, it's unfortunate that these people are creeps, but it is what it is. I can't do much about that. Um, I'm Jaws is up next. Jaws, I tried to I didn't want to kind of stay away from a lot of like the creature feature stuff, like uh Lake Placid and Piranha and stuff like that. But I think Jaws, the original, is so damn good that you have to at least talk about it. But remember, we're not talking about just the original. We're talking about it as a franchise in and of itself. And as a franchise in and of itself, there's nothing good but the original. But I think as a franchise of its in and of itself, I'm gonna put it at C. Uh God, I kind of want to put this down at D. The fucking I'm gonna put it at D. The amount they put it after and how bad they were is just a testament to what they did wrong with horror films, because the first one is phenomenal. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Human Centipede. Three of these movies. Three that I hated the third one. Hated the third one. The first one, I mean, they're fucking weird as shit. They are. They truly are. They're not good by people's standards, but they're fun as shit to watch. And I'll put it. Let me put it here in D. I think if you're a true horror fan, you should watch them. The third one's bad, just all around bad. It's not even fun to watch. But the first two, yeah, right on. Hostel, Hostel 1, 2, and 3, some of my favorite shit. I mean, this is the turn of the Eli Roth gore porn kind of stuff, and I think it works in this. The story is cohesive, the acting is good. I love Hostel. I think it deserves to be A. Hellraiser. Hellraiser, I would say, is the most C shit of all time. I put this right up here with Leprechaun. They're a fun rewatch. Um, Not much to say there. Um, Silence of the Lambs. The Hannibal franchise is how I would say it. Silence of the Lambs is probably one of the best horror movies ever made. I mean, it won Academy Award for Best Movie of the Year. Most people don't like to consider it horror; they like to consider it thriller or whatever. And then it was what was after Red Dragon, which stunk. But then Hannibal was next, not good. Red Dragon was the one after, really good, really good. Back to what was good about the franchise, and then after that it was whatever. I'll put this up in B because of how good the first and the third one is, um, but not much higher than this. All right, so we run into more. Yes, we have those three again. Okay, so let's just jump these three. We'll get back to those. Those are the big three, I would say. So I'm gonna plant them somewhere last. We're gonna go straight to House of a Thousand Corpses here. I think and this is the if you were to call it a franchise, you'd call it the Firefly trilogy. I truly enjoy these. I'm truly a fan of most of what Rob Zombie does. So I am gonna put House of a Thousand Corpses up in the A. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. Um, Wait a second. So I fucked up. We'll talk about that next. Um, it does not change the place. So, anyways, House of a Thousand Corpses. Um, Three from Hell is the last one. Devil's Rejects. I mean, just real fun. I talked about Final Destination for I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer is F. I lied. I am gonna change it. I'm gonna put an F. I don't like any of those. I think they're dumb. Final Destination is D. All right, now we're back. This is the recent trilogy Fear Street that was done on Netflix. I like these. I think these deserve it to be in B. I think they did a good job grasping three different elements of horror and really translating them. And I think they did a good job production design and acting and all that stuff. Next one is the Exorcist franchise. Now, I only remembered watching the first two when I glanced at this, and I remember the first two being good. I didn't remember how many there was afterwards. I think because of the first was so good, I'm gonna put it in B, and I think the rest of them can't be bad, but that can easily be knocked down to C. This next one we'll talk about the Romero Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is S tier. Uh Hands down S tier. Just that's the best shit. I love that. I like if we're talking zombies, I'm talking Romero or I'm talking about the Evil Dead stuff, which is different. And Evil Dead even mind you, I think I'll mention that. I might not have that on a list to mention later. But Evil Dead is one of my favorite originals. They did two of them and then they did what do they call that? They did the series and it's fuck. Man, I hate when I fucking keep blanking like this. Uh Tucker, no. Ash Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yeah. And that I know they did one Ash versus the Evil Dead, and then they did a series. So I wasn't sure where to include it on here, but I thought it should get at least mentioned. The Conjuring universe. I'm putting all the movies in here. I'm not going to separate Annabelle or whatever. they all tie together. I think they're all one franchise. I think these movies are good. Um, I think these movies are good. I think they deserve to be an A. Even the ones that lack aren't that bad. Like people like to roast them. I don't think that's very accurate. Oh, here we go. And the one that I just did a rewatch on is the Child's Play franchise. Now, Child's Play franchise, um, I think does a good job. It's tough. The first one was great. I love Child's Play. Child's Play 2 is a complete ripoff of the first one. Child's Play 3, they did something different that is bothersome because they did that weird thing of like the 80s and 90s where they just put them in boot camp or like kids what do they call that where they send their kids away because they don't like them, boarding school. And I think the character of Chucky kind of grows into its own, and I'm glad they pivoted the franchise from there to just naming the movie Chucky and stop trying to follow the kid. And like the movies really take a turn from there, I think for the better, and they do some really fun stuff and they focus on what makes this franchise good. Oh, oh my god, it's too dark. I'm scared. Talking about all these horror movies. I think Child's Play franchise. I think I think it should be fuck. Because of those middle ones, I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it there. Um, the Candyman stuff. I think we have a real chance with the. I don't think they're. The problem is I don't think they're gonna do it. Original Candyman, okay. I mean, it was good. Had a great horror villain. Um, then everything the other two weren't good at all, and then the remake that was made just a couple years ago was good. I skipped Children of the Corn. We'll talk about that after. I'll put this into. I'll put this in. Fuck. Let's put this here and see. Children of the Corn, the first one's good. The rest of them really stink. I think that has to go into D. Cabin Fever. I only remember the original one. Um, I don't remember anyone after that. And I don't I mean, I think it was good, but it was like, if I remember correctly, they just were drinking poisonous water as a horror franchise. I don't see why they went past one. Um, what the fuck is this? What is that one? Fuck. Might have to go down and find out what the fuck this shit is. Desktop. What is this? Oh, I know. That's the fucking. Yep, sorry. So this is the Amityville horror movies. Um, I will go Amityville horror. I'll go D. I like the original a lot, and I do like these movies. They're fun, but I don't think they have any business being above D here. They don't really do anything special or anything that would grant it above. Aliens, I think B is a good place for the aliens. It kind of draws the line somewhere, at times during the franchise in itself, like it passes over from when it's horror or sci-fi, and it does like the first one blends both so very well that that I can't, it is what it is. But all right, we're at the point that I think we've all been waiting for here. This is where, well, for you, you'd be like, why is there six of them? Doubled up, accidentally when this happened. Oh, there's a presentation mode. Please don't fuck this up. Please don't fuck this up. God damn it. God damn it. Hope I'm still recording. I don't know. I don't know if you could see that. Let me just put this back. I'll have to remember that for next time. I feel like such a fucking idiot sometimes. I should have been doing that. No shit, Sherlock, you fucking idiot. All right, let's start with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Not really known for its franchise, I would say, unlike the other two here, Halloween and Friday the 13th. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, uh I I count as like what before what made let's think of it. Michael sparked the Halloween series and Michael Myers sparked what would become the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like a grindhouse guy turning it into a slasher. I mean, Texas Chainsaw, I think, is one of my favorite stuff of all time. I think most of it hits. There's some bad movies in here, but I think no matter when you watch it, like I think it can truly be scary. I would put Texas Chainsaw Massacre up here in the S category. I know there are some not technically well-made movies in this franchise, and there's a ton of them, including remakes, but I think every single one of them you can watch and have a good time, and it's a scary character. Halloween is next. Like I said, um, I think Halloween really plants its bases and nails it. One of the interesting things about Halloween as a franchise is made Halloween, made Halloween 2, and then wo- uh John Carpenter wanted to make Halloween Season of the Witch, and he basically was like, "Hey, you know what? I don't think there's much left on the plate here for Michael Myers. I think we did everything in the first two movies, and I'm happy with that storyline. I basically want to make Halloween like these every single movie I'm horror movie I make, I want to call Halloween something and put it out, or sorry, not every single horror movie, but every single I have these ideas that center around the holiday of Halloween. So I want to make different movies and different stories when they come to me and put it under this banner. And it'll be a weird franchise where I have maybe like one or two here, one in there. And after Season of the Witch came out, which I'm actually fond of, people like really shat on it and made him like kind of force his hand to go back to making Michael Myers stuff. Um I think at times there's some really low like Halloween H2O, and if you ever want like take a dive into what the timeline is for Halloween movies, it makes sense. The shit's sloppy as fuck. But I think they do the best they can, and I very much appreciate them as a franchise. I think they are leaders in this. And then this leaves us with Friday the 13th, which I think Friday the 13th deserves to be in C. Now, some of you guys may be going, that's one of the original franchises. Jason is one of the most recognizable horror icons of all time. Whatever, whatever. I mean, these movies are the original has a great concept. I mean, I love the original. I watch it all the time. I don't watch anything else. These movies get out of fucking hand and they miss the fucking boat. As soon as they like let's the whole scary part at the end of Friday the 13th is that you find out it's Jason's mother who's been doing it. Pam, Pamela, Pamela Voorhees, yeah, Pamela Voorhees, who's been doing the murders the whole time. She's a psychotic mom because the camp counselors didn't watch her son Jason as he swam, and then she floats out into the river after beheading her and blah blah blah, the final girl, and then wakes up to the sheriffs on the beach and then gets dragged in the bottom of the water in a premonition by uh by Jason as a boy. And then they just jump into like this fully grown monster of a human. And I mean, it's what truly made the slasher genre not have to work. And all those bad franchises that you think about that may not even be listed here, like My Bloody Valentine. Well, I think there's only a couple of those, but like the truly bad ones that like come from the idea of that. And I think the kills are fun. I think of it kind of the same way as like Final Destination, where you can just go in and watch the kills on YouTube and don't have to fucking worry about anything else. Like the story really sucks in a lot of these, and it really stinks to say because Jason, I am a fan of Jason. All right, that was fucking fun. I like that. Let me make sure I got everything. So S tier, I've got Ringu, I've got Insidious, I've got Ju-on, I've got the George A. Romero Dead series, I've got Texas Chainsaw. A, I've got Scream, Hostel, House of a Thousand Corpses, The Conjuring, and Halloween. I think that's accurate. B, I've got VHS, Psycho, Poltergeist. What is that one again? The Omen, Jeepers Creepers, Silence of the Lambs, Fear Street, The Exorcist. That's Child's Play and Aliens. Then in C, I have Saw, Reanimator, Prom Night, Leprechaun, Hellraiser, Candyman, Friday the 13th. Then in D, I have Tremors, Paranormal Activity, Jaws, Human Centipede, Final Destination, Children of the Corn, Amityville Horror. And then F, I have Sleepaway Camp, The Purge, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Cabin Fever. Um, I think one of these is out of place. No, no, I don't think it's out of place. I think we're good. I like this. I like what I have here. This is really fun. Um, let me exit out of this. Exit out of this shit real quick. Oh, you know what I have to do? I have to do it here. Oh, and we're back. I don't need that fucking light now. We're gonna have to work on that for the daytime stuff. Turn this back down. Don't need to be so. I like it when it's dark. I have some honorable mentions, so let me pull those up really quick, and then we'll get out of here. Couple honorable mentions that I didn't put on here. Obviously, I think the X sequels, X trilogy, when that comes, will hit the list and be high. Honorable mentions. Why does it say? Okay. Only have this one's only have two. Grave Encounters only have two. I like those ones. Orphan only has two. I haven't watched the Orphan First Kill that just came out. I'm not sure how that second one's gonna be, but the first one has a good one. Sinister, two great movies. Ouija, not really good. Creep is phenomenal. You'll recognize the guy from Office Space, Mark Duplass, I believe it is, or it's his brother. I can't remember. The Gallows, not really great, but if they make a third one, it'll be on here. Terrifier 2 coming out. That's very exciting. I like the original. Go watch it if you're a horror fan. If not, you're not really gonna like it. So I don't know what we even listen to the last part of this is. And then finally, Quiet Place. I think they'll eventually get around to making Quiet Place 3, and that'll definitely hit the list probably at a high spot. All right. I'm gonna be getting out of here. Hopefully I can get this guys to you soon. Hopefully everything edits perfectly. Thank you guys for continuing to listen. All of you guys out there. Sorry for the last minute noise there. I don't know why I had to mess that microphone. Thank you again, guys. I'll catch you next week on another episode of Trap Door to Hell.